So welcome. Gary is back here. Gary, can you wave at us real quick? He's going to talk. I think you told me Vietnam. We'll get started. Ms. Wishman.
Is it working? There we go. All right, so this is third and second grade. We're doing about what Veterans Day is and what it means.
Scene 1, at home. It's a beautiful autumn day and Tom is sitting on the porch with his grandfather, Grandpa Joe.
I heard Grandma say that today is Veterans Day. What does that mean?
Veterans Day is the day when we honor all the brave men and women who have served our country in the military.
So it's a special day on holiday. Why is it important?
You are gratitude and respect. Scene 2, at school. The next day, Tommy's class is visited by a soldier who tells them more about Veterans Day.
Class, I would like to introduce you to a very special guest. The soldier Smith, a veteran who served in our country.
Hello everyone, I'm here to talk to you about
Men and women who have served our country in the military.
That's right, Tommy. Do you know why it's important?
Yes, my grandpa told me that veterans risk their lives to keep our country safe and free.
That's exactly right. And there are many things we can do to honor veterans, like thanking them for their service, visiting veterans' homes, or donating organizations that support veterans.
Scene 3, at the Veterans Day Parade. Later that day, Tom and his family attend the Veterans Day Parade in their town. There are people waving flags, cheering, and wearing
Wearing
flat. The day Tom and Linda operations. It is the largest and oldest branch of the U.S. military. These soldiers protect
The United States Marine Corps is a branch of the United States Armed Forces responsible for providing forces and detachments to naval ships at sea and shore operations. Marines are deployed to respond swiftly and aggressively in times of crisis. In addition, the Marine Corps has missions in direct support of the White House and the State Department. Thank you, men and women of the United States Marine Corps. The United States The mission of the Navy is to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces, capital of force, deterring aggression and maintaining freedom of the seas. Thank you, men and women of the United States Navy.
lead aerial and warfare and space warfare service branch of the United States Armed Forces. The mission of the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace. They have been united in defending America since the dawn of the fight. Thank you, men and women of the United States Air Force.
The United States Coast Guard is the only military organization within the Department of Homeland Security.
Its mission is to protect the public, the environment, and U.S. economic interests.
In the nation's ports and waterways along the coast and on the international waters.
The Coast Guard's motto is Semper Paratus, meaning always ready.
Thank you, men and women of the United States Coast.
Thank you to all of our country's veterans, those who are serving now or who have served in the past. We are truly grateful for your service.
Would all of us here today please stand? You are the bravest people we know.
Join us in showing our gratitude for our veterans.
kids share a thank you for our armed veterans, those who have served in the armed service. Okay.
When you give a veteran a thank you, they might just gain more smile because they appreciate your thoughtfulness.
When you give a veteran a thank you, they might just steal your heart because we owe them so much and yet they remain so humble. When you give a veteran a thank you, they might just get a tear in their eye because they've been through so much. When you give a veteran a thank you, they might just tell you a story because they have so many stories to tell. When you give a veteran a thank you, they may be surprised because they won't expect you to be so thoughtful. When you give a veteran a thank you, you may be rewarded with a thank you in return if you give a veteran a thank you. When you give a veteran a thank you, you know we love our veteran, so please take time to thank a veteran today.
All right, students, if you just wanted to turn your bodies this way, we have our special guest, Mr. Gary here, that's going to talk to you a little bit about his experiences and all of the things that he brought to show you.
Well, greetings from Wichita. I live in Wichita. My name is Gary Martin, and I was invited here by one of your teachers, Miss McDaniels, happens to go to my church. And so she asked me to be here, and I brought a few things here. My daughter thinks I have too much stuff, but I'm a veteran. I've been in 22 countries and 41 states during my military service. And anyway, I was in active duty for 7.5 years. The uniform I'm wearing is the uniform that I had. I got out 53 years ago. But anyway, I'm glad to be here today. Normally I speak to young people that are a little bit older than me, older than you. And but anyway, I spoke at Andover Middle School this past Friday. I've made myself some notes here to quickly go through, and I think they told me we need to finish by 3:15. Is that correct? Okay. Well, I've got 15 minutes then. I shared some things you'll see up here on the table. I'll mention a couple of these things. As I mentioned, I was on active duty for 7.5 years. 4 of those years I spent outside of the United States. 3 years in West Germany, where I learned to speak German and supporting the West Germans against the Russians. It was just the opposite of World War II. My wife and I went to Europe in 1963, and we didn't talk to anybody in our family for 3 years. Can you imagine that? Young people today texting, if they don't hear back in about 20 minutes, they think their friend has left them. But we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of that while we were there. So anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about what I've done in the military. I brought some things that are hanging over here, some uniforms. My stepfather was in the United States Navy, and you see the Navy uniform there on that mannequin with the Navy hat. He was in World War II. He died in 1985. I have a uniform hanging up there. It's kind of long. My brother was an F-16 pilot in the Air Force for 20 years, and that's the kind of suit that he wore as an F-16 pilot. He's retired now and lives in Missouri. I also want to mention to you something about enlisted and drafted. Anybody know what that means? Someone who's drafted in the Army, do you know what that means? Somebody? Okay. Yes. was in the Army, okay? How many of you have somebody in your family that's in the military or been in? A lot of you do, don't you? Okay? Well, thank them for their service, too. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, anyway, I went through ROTC at Wichita University in Wichita and graduated in 1963 and went on active duty. If they want to or not. There was an enlistment for the draft, or all the young people when they reached age 18 had to sign up for the draft. Particularly in World War II, there were a lot of individuals drafted and others volunteered their services to their country. You know, you mentioned the 5 different branches that we have in the service. I happen to be in the United States Army. My brother was in the Air Force. I've known friends that are in the Marines. And my friend here, Larry Strelo, is a part of my group of Kansas Honor Flights. We fly veterans to Washington, D.C. free of charge for 3 days. And so I'm hoping that some of you, perhaps here, will have someone that we can sign up to go this next year if they're eligible. Anyway, Larry, what branch were you in?
Air Force.
Air Force. Air Force, okay. Yeah, we put up with the Air Force, but they're important.
Yeah, we let you guys tag.
Yeah. So are the Marines and the Navy and the Coast Guard. All of the branches are important. As I mentioned to you, I had a chance to go to West Germany with my wife for 3 years. I bought a new Volkswagen for $1,100, brand new. You know what a Volkswagen is? A bug, okay? Oh, I brought with me a couple of things here today. This belonged to my son. This is what they wear. That's what the boys wear in West Germany, or in Germany. These are lederhosen, made out of leather. They never wash them, they just get smooth because they play with it. This was some that my son wore when he was about 3 years old. I also have a little bit larger one, but if you've ever seen pictures in southern Bavaria, the people wear these. They're called lederhosen, which is leather, okay? I was 4 years old when World War II started. Does anybody know what D-Day stands for? Yeah. Yes. What? Okay. All right. What? Yeah. A little bit here, okay? This is when we were in World War II against the Germans and the Japanese at World War II. When I was in West Germany, I had a chance to go to 13 countries. I also got a chance to go to Normandy Beach, and that's where the D-Day invasion took place. I'm told there's something like 5,000 ships and 13,000 airplanes that took part in the D-Day invasion. My wife and I got to go out on the beach, and it was pretty quiet. There wasn't anything going on at that time. That was in 1965 that we went there. I brought with me a newspaper. Can you see the headlines from back there? I think you probably can. This is the Wichita Beacon. When I was younger, I threw a paper out, the Wichita Beacon, here in Wichita when I was younger. This paper came out on June the 6th, 1944. This is the second. So, anyway, our local paper sometime one year forgot to even mention D-Day, so I called them up and let them know what I thought about that. I want to mention a couple of things here. Anyone know what a Gold Star family is? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. What's that? Okay. I'll go ahead and share this with you. My neighbor down the street has one hanging in their window, not this one. If you see this hanging in someone's window or on their door, this means that they lost someone in the war that was killed. One of their family members, either father, grandfather, a brother, and that's what this is called. It's a gold star, and there are families that get together. All of these people are the ones that lost somebody during the war. You do? Okay. This one's a little different. My neighbor down the street has one hanging. Their son is in the military. This blue star means that they have somebody currently serving in the military somewhere. Okay? So that's the difference between these signs. What do you think this is here? Okay, that's a shovel, but in the military they call it an entrenching tool. It's to dig a hole. How hole do you think they dug? Well, foxholes, right? You ever heard of a foxhole? Yeah, okay, in World War II, believe it or not, they actually used these entrenching tools, or these shovels, to dig a hole so they were protected from being shot. So this is from World War II that I've collected. I have a lot of these things, and some of it belonged to my father-in-law, who was in the Army 30 years. Well, they're sharp. You just have to take it apart here, and it makes into a shovel. Okay? How many of you ever heard of a Purple Heart? Okay, have you ever seen one? Well, you're going to see one. Okay, I have some medals here. I received 3 Bronze Star medals while I was in Vietnam. And I wasn't wounded, but if I had been, I would have received one of these. This is an actual Purple Heart. Does anyone have an idea who started the Purple Heart? Somebody? Just say it if you know. You heard of George Washington? Yeah. He's a guy. He's a guy.
He was president.
Yeah, he was our first president, right? All right. If we had time, I'd have passed this around, but we don't have the time now. But all this stuff's going to be up here. But this is an actual. I didn't receive one, but a gentleman sold it to me so I could use it to show when I go to speak at. Let's see. Here's a little chart. These are all the patches I wore. On my right sleeve here, you'll see a different patch than on my left sleeve. On the right sleeve, is it octagon there? Well, yeah. The one on the right sleeve indicates that I was in combat, and that was with the 9th Infantry Division in South Vietnam from 1968 to 1969. But these are the patches I wore in Fort Riley, in Pennsylvania, in West Germany, and in Vietnam. And these are also the branch of service. I was an air defense artillery officer. That was the specialty that I had. Those are missiles about 38 foot long. They're not very mobile. You can't move them around. I did for 3 years in Germany. This I got from a friend in World War I from 1917. This is the kind of hat they actually wore. This is one of the hats from that time, World War I. These are, they call them doughboys. I think that was the term they used. Or doughboys. Yeah. All right. Here's one of the Bronze Star medals, what they look like. And I received 3 of those. The first Bronze Star medal that I received in Vietnam was presented by General. I found out after he died that he parachuted in the 101st Airborne on D-Day at Normandy. And then he served in Korea. Then he was in Vietnam. And finally, at the Paris Peace Talks at the end of the Vietnam War, he participated. But I didn't know that while he was the commanding general of our division. You want to open that up over there? All right. What? Anybody have any idea what this is? Abilene. That's what they call them in the military. This belonged to my father-in-law. He was in 30 years the year I went into service in 1963. But this canteen you fill with water because if you're out fighting, you don't have time to go to a trip or any place like that and get a drink, you know. Okay? So you carry water with you, and it's pretty valuable if you're out there, if it's hot. Okay? Yeah, Mr. Strelo here opened up this for me. When you go to the restaurant, they give you a plate and a knife and a fork. This is what you use if you're out in the field there. You don't have a chance to sit down at a table and a chair. And this is called a mess kit, and it folds up, and it has a knife, fork, and a spoon in it. Okay? Anybody here speak German in here? Anybody? I think you all do. You know what the name of the reindeers are? The reindeer? What's some of the reindeer names?
I know. Rudolph.
Okay, Rudolph, yeah. Name? Dasher, another?
Prancer.
Okay. Donner, remember Donner? And Blitzen. Well, you all speak German. Okay. Okay. Donner is the word in German for thunder, and Blitzen is lightning. So you know how to speak two words in German. Kindergarten is also a German word. Kindergarten. Kinder are children. Okay. But this is a mess kit which you'd use when you got your meals out in the field if you were away from your the place where you were staying. Here I've got a little, inside of here is a tape. I won't open it up. I have a small tape recorder which still works. When I was in Vietnam in 1968-69, I would make a tape for my wife to let her know what was going on with me and hoping that I'd come home someday. Anyway, I would make a tape and send it to her, and she would play it, and then she would make a tape and send it back. And I could send these free through the mail. All I had to do was just drop it in the mail. I was there over Christmas of 1968, and my wife had a Christmas tree. I was the only one in my unit that had a small tree about 3 feet tall. She sent it in a cardboard box, and she didn't use the little peanuts, the styrofoam peanuts. She popped popcorn and filled it up. So I had a little tree there. And while I was stationed in Vietnam, I was in the jungle area, and there were lots of snakes. I didn't have time to, I have a presentation where I show pictures and stuff. We don't have time to do that today, but one of the chaplains there had snakes in his room, about 7 or 8 snakes. And I have a picture of me with a Malayan python hanging around my neck. There's lots of snakes there in the jungle. And I also found out that there's also tigers and elephants in Vietnam in different parts than I was in. So, but I didn't get to see any tigers. In August through December, I think, is called the monsoon season. You know what that means? It rains, and it rains, and it rains, and it's May. So I don't think I'd like the monsoon rain, so I was glad to come home after 1 year. So anyway, this is how I communicated with my wife, and I would call her once a week on a radio ham operator through Arizona, and I could speak to her at night. I'm about here, my time's running out here. Anyway, I'm thankful here. I'm also a volunteer for the Kansas Honor Flight. We fly our veterans, and I have a blue hat up here in the red shirt, and here I have some things that I brought, and certainly I appreciate all of you and the presentation you made today. Yes? Normandy. This is some pictures that were taken on D-Day from Normandy Beach. My wife and I had a chance to go out there on the beach and go in the bunkers there that was there. So anyway, I'm going to have to wrap it up here, but I have, wish I could be here a little bit longer, but I appreciate your music today, and yes.
All right. We want to we want to tell you thank you so much for coming. And there's some really cool stuff up here. And I know some of you kids are probably wanting to get a closer look. So teachers, while you guys stand up, you could probably do like, we'll kind of create a, yeah. You can walk your class along and see it and then come out the other door. I don't know if it'd be better to go this way or that way, but which way? You got it?
These are my actual jungle boots that I used in around. They were pretty handy there, but if you got your feet wet, you could walk around, they would squish water out of your boots. Keep your foot dry. Thank you so much for having me today.